the real question is, Russ, how dedicated are you to the bit? Are you going to smoke that cigar, or are you just going to put it in your mouth?
You want me to smoke a cigar inside your house?
I really don't want you to smoke a cigar in my house.
I don't really want to. This is the bit. In fact, this is the only bit I have. I don't have any jokes. It's just me looking like Wolverine, kind of. So.
No, Russ, I think you should smoke that cigar somewhere more appropriate, like a maternity ward. You know?
Sure. We have little bastards, a taste of reality. Welcome to the real world.
Yeah. Oh, man. Russ, we've made it to episode 64.
Ooh.
If we were a sitcom, if we did like 36 more episodes, we'd be syndicated.
Damn.
We'd make a lot of money, but it's not a sitcom, so we're not going to get syndicated or make a lot of money.
Oh, damn. What the hell am I doing here?
Yeah. This is a movie, it's kind of like the last movie of my childhood.
Which movie is this?
X-Men 2000.
X-Men 2000, yes.
I think I was 12 when this came out.
Okay.
And, your interest in things like X-Men pretty much peaks at like 11 or 12.
Sure.
So it's kind of the perfect time for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember seeing this movie in theaters. I actually went with my dad. And this movie was cool. I remember enjoying it in theaters. Watching it all these years later, it's a different viewing experience. I'll say that.
I'm going to recommend this one and give it 3 stars. Overall, I think it's pretty solid. I think this movie works because the acting and the direction is good, and Bryan Singer, to his credit, is able to develop these characters enough that they seem real and you care about them, which is key to a movie like this because it's about a team or a group.
Right.
So you really have to nail the character development for it to work.
I think I read that Singer was chosen because a producer had seen The Usual Suspects and saw that he could balance out a full cast of people and make everybody seem interesting and character driven. So that's a big reason why he actually got this.
That makes sense.
He hadn't read I read that he didn't really read too many comics, and he thought actually the idea was stupid before he gave the animated 1992 series a chance. And then he saw like all the themes that he felt like he could associate with, and therefore took the project.
He saw the cartoon and he was like, "This is very gay. I connect with this."
I like how tight everybody's underwear is. Yeah.
And he said to the producers, he was like, "So, making this film that features Xavier's School for Young Gifted Boys, I'll probably meet a lot of young boys."
Well, at least a cast of 10 that they keep reusing
yeah.
all over the school.
Yeah, although none of the lesser kids are consistent. They get recast for the sequel.
Yeah, right. Like anybody who's got powers.
They got to know Bryan Singer.
Yeah. Do you want to touch on that? I mean, do you want me to respond?
I don't know why I'm doing this now, Russ. It's compulsive and I can't stop, and I don't even want to talk about any of this.
Okay. Well, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to
like the way Bryan Singer forced those kids. See, I can't stop. The director of X-Men and X2, Bryan Singer, has stopped directing Hollywood movies and fled the country after some pretty disturbing allegations came to light. But Russ, don't worry, because Bryan Singer left the series after X2.
Right.
And Brett Ratner took over as director of the 3rd installment, X-Men: The Last Stand.
Another Hollywood filmmaker is being accused of sexual misconduct. The LA Times reporting that 6 women have come forward accusing Brett Ratner of sexual harassment and assault.
X-Men is available to stream on Disney+. I don't think it's available anywhere else.
No, I didn't find it anywhere.
But all the X-Men movies are on Disney+.
It was a 20th Century Fox production, which Disney now owns. So they got all the stuff.
It feels like they're still trying to kind of wring some blood out of this 20th Century Fox X-Men. I think like
they're still bringing what's his name back as Wolverine. You know, Hugh Jackman's probably played Wolverine more than any other actor's played any other part.
Patrick Stewart is like 108 years old at this point,
and he still keeps going. They still keep propping him up, making sure he looks bald enough.
I thought Logan was really good. That might have been the best of all the X-Men movies that I've seen. I think I've seen most of them.
Logan's good. Yeah. You seen the first class ones where they're all young and stuff?
I saw one of them.
You can skip.
It's kind of unmemorable.
Michael Jackson apparently wanted the role of Professor X.
Michael Jackson as Professor X would be fucking ridiculous. That Wolverine, just stay here and I help you find the things from your past that you don't know about.
It's ignorant. It would have been bad. I'm glad they went with Patrick Stewart, who I think was always in the running for the thing. Just because Michael wanted it doesn't mean Michael doesn't always get what Michael wants, Just most.
Michael Jackson wanted to be in every comic book movie. I always hear shit like this.
Yeah.
He's always like, I want to be Beast. It's like, what? No, you see, I'm going to be Superman. Like, what? That's terrible casting. You don't look anything like Superman. Nah, you're just being ignorant. It'll be great.
Dude, a Michael
All
Jackson
the kids will love
Superman would be something.
Letting that man have an amusement park was enough leverage over kids.
Sure.
Making him the fucking lead in a comic book movie is
Too
just...
much.
Bryan Singer was bad enough, Russ. Overall, I think they did a great job with this film, and the acting and direction are good, and the casting is really good. Patrick Stewart is perfect as Charles Xavier. Ian McKellen is a great Magneto.
Fantastic. Apparently,
Great actor.
Apparently, Ian McKellen was almost going to turn down this role because he was cast as Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. He told that to production, and Singer was able to move production schedule around so that they would start shooting, and then Ian would show up after he had finished Lord of the Rings and just jump right in and be Magneto. He's coming right off the tail of being Gandalf and jumping into Magneto, but separate, totally separate character. He's a consummate actor, so I don't think that it's Gandalf or whatever.
He's great. The casting of the mutants is pretty subtle. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine just basically looks like a normal guy with big sideburns. This was also...
made the sideburns cool for like however long.
That's really the only touch that you get from the comic book. And this also, like, his body type is very...
normal?
Not even like athletic. He just looks like a normal guy.
He's kind of fit. He's fit. He doesn't have a gut or anything.
But it looks like he got kind of jacked later.
As the movies go, he just got more and more pumped up. It's outrageous. By the time he's like busting out of the water in Wolverine, he's so vascular and like juiced that...
Well, Russ, it's totally normal and natural for men to put on a lot of muscle mass into their 40s.
Oh, yeah. It just naturally happens. You just bulk up, because of all the pasta you're eating or whatever.
And apparently he was cast like very last minute. This is his first film. This is his first feature film.
This is his first feature film, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And talk about landing on a role of a lifetime.
Forever. Dude, that made it boosted him to stardom. Like, this is definitely the movie that made Hugh Jackman, obviously, if it's his first one. Hollywood stardom, A-list after that, This was the launch pad.
And this is one of those actors that everybody likes because he still is married to his old fat wife. Not aware of that?
He's not. They unmarried recently, yeah.
Oh, Russ, you're breaking my heart.
No, I'm sorry, Gary. He's now in a relationship, I believe, with his co-actor from The Music Man. He went on Broadway and he did a performance of The Music Man last year, and
typical.
Had a falling out.
Very typical.
With his current wife. So yeah, he's not as good a guy as you thought, Gary.
Tyler Mane plays Sabretooth. Is also pretty subtle. He just looks like he's got black eyes and claws.
Dude, Sabretooth, he should have been called fucking Slackjaw. If he had the power to like look dumb with his mouth open, and that was it. Like every scene was just.
It's supposed to be Wolverine's like big nemesis.
Yeah, it ultimately becomes his brother in the series, or it was like in the comic or something. But in this movie, it's not his brother. And apparently, Kevin Nash was
Big Sexy.
was gonna be Sabretooth, but he turned it down for another role and ended up being in The Punisher.
That was bad. That was a bad.
It was a
choice.
bad movie, and he gets physically stabbed in that movie. Do you know that, Gary? Instead of the prop knife where it gets plunged into his chest, it's a real knife that gets plunged right into his like.
He got Brandon Lead.
He lives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't die, but he just there's a knife like this big, and it gets plunged like that deep into his pec. Luckily, he's got like that much pec. So, but it's one of the coolest parts of the Punisher.
I'm gonna get into the female cast here, and man, the female cast in this movie is just so good. The casting, first of all, Rebecca Romaine Stamos as Mystique is amazing, and this is another first feature lead. She was in Austin Powers as herself.
Okay.
But she was basically a model before this.
Sure.
She's great as Mystique.
She really is. The makeup for Mystique is iconic. That full blue with the spikes apparently had over 110 like applications to put to her, and it took over 9 hours to apply it, and covered 60% of her body. She was not able to drink wine or fly or use skin cream the days before because any slight change to her body chemistry would cause the prosthetics to fall off. And because of the secrecy of this character, she didn't hang out with the cast. She was like put in another room, like kept secret, and she would only come out for shots. So she really didn't hang out with too many people. She was kind of like making her own movie, kind of kept in secret there, which it doesn't sound like the most enjoyable production. 9 hours of makeup every time you got to do it. You can't drink wine to ease you down, and you got to stay in a separate room from everybody else. Nightmare. But hey, it's an iconic role, and she's gone on to do many things after.
Yeah, and it's great the way they played her nude. Like, this isn't in the comic book. This is an invention of the filmmakers who made this movie.
Is it?
And
she had clothes in the comics?
In the comic book, she has like a white dress. She's never like, which just makes sense because how can you shapeshift if you have clothes over you? You'll have the clothes over you still.
Yeah, right.
This whole idea with having Rebecca Romijn Stamos just be naked in this movie is fucking brilliant. X3, the X-Men 3 movie is pretty much only watchable for Mystique. Oh man, there's a scene in X3 where like Mystique crawls on top of Wolverine, and she's like, trying to seduce him, and then she like changes into Jean Grey.
Oh,
and Wolverine like pushes her off.
What a loser! He could have had any person he wanted.
Not only could he have had sex with any woman, but he could have just had sex with Mystique.
Yeah. In the comic,
scaly blue butt.
In the comic, are they related?
Mystique and Wolverine?
I think she's his mother or something weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that changes the whole thing, Russ.
Yeah. What was sexy is now even sexier.
Now we're getting back into Blue Velvet territory.
Uh-oh. Mommy.
Famke Janssen as Jean Grey is another great casting choice.
And actually, her acting's good. Like, I believe the things she's saying and doing.
Yeah.
I felt like she was a real character enough,
The year 2000 was just a much better time in Hollywood because they were still making movies about civil rights and tolerance, but they were only casting the hottest, most over-sexualized women possible. This is why it worked. Now it's like...
Because you get on both sides. Everybody could have something.
You could have your preachy message, but still make things that people enjoy. This was when they were doing it right. This is the peak of Hollywood. It all went downhill.
After this, yeah. After 2000, honestly, after The Matrix and the first Marvel film, it did kind of all go downhill after that.
Technically, I think the real peak of the film industry is 2019. But in reality, the peak is like early 2000s. My problem with this movie, or my criticism of it, is just that it can be a bit bland and boring.
Okay.
Which I feel like is a kind of a running theme in Bryan Singer's work. His movies, to me, they feel a little bit generic. They're competently made.
Sure, yeah.
They're just a little bit generic and boring, and they feel kind of empty.
I mean, this one moved quick enough for me, but yeah, sure. I see what you're saying. And compared to the comics, which was all people had, the cartoons and comics before this, X-Men was so bright and colorful, and we haven't really had too many superheroes movies before this. In fact, 2000 was before Spider-Man, which was 2002. It's really, we probably had some weird Spider-Man TV shows from the 70s and the Batman TV shows and movies, but it really wasn't until here that we started tackling other superheroes, more mainstream superheroes. I mean, Flash Gordon and shit, but
well, the comic book thing in Hollywood had already kind of ended because of Batman and Robin had left a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
When did that come out?
That was 97. And then Blade came out, which did pretty good. And this one, for sure. And, it's a more realistic approach to superheroes than the Batman superhero movies of the 80s and 90s.
Right.
The casting is very subtle. The costumes are very subtle. And it feels exactly like they were purposely trying to make something that didn't feel too comic booky and colorful and stupid.
But you think they went too far and went too gray?
No. I think Bryan Singer's movies are just boring. It has nothing to do with this. Not because the costumes in this are subtle.
Right.
This is the way you should make a fucking superhero movie.
Sure.
Yeah. And it totally worked for the time.
Yeah.
And it feels,
Yeah, I thought the first two X-Men movies were outstanding. My main critiques were that Halle Berry's performance, trash, is absolute horrible.
Oh, yeah? Is she?
Yeah. Come on. Is she not?
What's your criticism that her line delivery is stiff?
Her every line delivery is just
I was wondering, is it because she's trying to do an accent?
Is she trying to do an accent?
That's what I thought. I thought Storm's supposed to be from some other country.
Was she Jamaican or something?
I think she's trying to do an accent.
Because the accent's horrible.
Yeah.
And instead it's just making her lines seem boring.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
It's cool. Halle Berry sucked. It moves a little bit quicker. Some scenes don't make sense. It's it's convenient that Rogue is walking around in the middle of the night while Hugh Jackman's having a nightmare, and there's just some other weird coincidences that like progress plot, but it's not.
Oh, I can explain that. I don't think that's a coincidence. She has this. Maybe you're right.
And also the like any romance between anyone is not. It just feels so forced. Scott and or Cyclops and Jean Grey are in a relationship. They don't even look at each other their entire fucking movie.
Damn, now that you say that, yeah, you're kind of right.
And Hugh Jackman's just like, I want to hit on you the entire time. And there's no real romance. He's like, I love you. He just met her. You know, he's known her for like maybe 5 hours max.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All that felt a little bit contrived watching it now.
So Magneto's evil plan is he's going to transfer his magnetic ability into Rogue and then use her to power his mutant machine at the cost of her life.
Right. He's going to double.
Because it would kill him.
He's going to double power her. So she's got double the life force. And then hopefully that's enough to push
I thought it was just because you need to have Magneto's ability to use the machine. And she gets your power when she takes you. And because running the machine to the extent that he wants to would kill him. So he's going to sacrifice Rogue. He's going to give Rogue his magnetic ability and put her in the machine. It's going to kill her.
I see.
And do the thing.
Okay, interesting.
Wolverine saves her and heals her with his healing ability. And they already have this connection because of earlier in the film when he accidentally stabbed her.
Right.
And then used his healing ability to save her. And that once she absorbs somebody, it's like in her forever. It's an interesting part of that character, which
like
is I get why they focus on Rogue and Wolverine. They're kind of the most interesting.
Yeah, they got some
characters.
going on. I mean, other characters like Gambit and other people are just like wacky. It's like, oh, he throws cards and he's from Louisiana. You know, it's like, okay, there's a reason we didn't use him in too many movies.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
I think Nightcrawler and Beast were originally planned to be in this movie. They were taken out because of budget concerns.
Sure,
It's too expensive.
Yeah, they're both put in the sequels. But you know, it's funny. Now we're talking about sequels and characters. I waited 3 movies for Senator Kelly to come back as like Waterman. Yeah. I thought he was going to come back and be like, well, I have water powers. I didn't actually die. I thought that would have been such a good...
Oh, no. We need somebody to go through this drain.
Yeah.
Waterman.
Well, thankfully.
Not to worry.
Yeah. So I was kind of disappointed when he never showed up again. And he really just died at the beginning. So back to the end real quick. Yeah, it takes place on the Statue of Liberty. It's got a couple of crazy...
the Statue of Liberty as the big, like, final set piece.
Which is, to be fair, it's a cool set piece.
It's also, I feel like it's been done before.
Yeah, probably. They fight on the head, which is rad. Apparently, though, the head that they fight on is 1.5 times larger than the real Statue of Liberty.
It would have been a little bit too small.
Yeah, they would just be like punching each other and like trying to not fall off it.
Yeah.
Instead of being able to throw each other like 20 feet and zip around the end with your claws and land. Oh, God.
Yeah.
God, I hate that. I think I liked that as a kid, but seeing it more recently, I was like, that's so stupid. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I will say they do a pretty good job with the powers and stuff in this movie. And just like the way the powers relate to each other, the way like Magneto has control over Wolverine because he's filled with metal, and you know, they do a good job with that. It could easily have been really cheesy and bad, and they were able to avoid that and make something that like an adult can go and like kind of watch, and it's not the worst thing.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. As an adult, I was able to enjoy this movie.
To create images is always a challenge. Digital magic.